Hello, good morning and welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios right here in downtown Colombo. And as usual, good morning to you, Bandula.
Good morning, Faraz.
And how are you today?
Fine. How are you?
Very good, thank you. And our guest this morning is simply Rosie Senanaika.
Good morning, Faraz.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Rosie.
I didn't think I'd give you, say who you are, because everybody knows who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I mean, that was just fine. I'm Rosie Senanaika, and the introduction was just fine.
Good. Just in case anyone's wondering, former diplomat, member of the United National Party for a long time, since 1987, I think. Bandula, we have the news this morning that the former president, Mahinda Rajapaksa, may now face investigations into this RADA matter.
Yeah, I've read in the newspapers. I think it was one or two newspapers. What they say is after the elections. Now everything is going to be after the elections.
But why is this matter surfacing now?
That's what now we discussed on some issues also. The elections are nearing, so that's very questionable. So they are saying everything now. I'm sure there might be more surprises as they run up to the elections for us.
It's always very suspicious when these matters sort of come up closer to a time which is really important.
That's the name of the game today.
That's politics.
Suspicion.
There's a bit more, something far more serious, really, and that this initiative being led by none other than President Maithripala Sirisena, and that is the problem, the kidney problem. Apparently about 1,000 people die each year in Sri Lanka from kidney problems. And he is now called on international assistance.
Yeah, I think for us it's more in the Anuradhapura district. I think that's where things started. And but we could have, I'm sure we would have asked even earlier the WHO to help us. Better late than never. We need to arrest this and solve this problem, because most of these people who are dying are like innocent villagers, most of them.
I'm told that President Sirisena has requested the Yohei Sasakawa from the Nippon Foundation to lend his expertise. He has no expertise in this directly, but they've been doing leprosy assistance.
Yeah, but I think that's a great. The person was a former Minister of Health, and I'm sure with any help we could get, and we could help and serve the people.
And it's important, isn't it, to get this right?
Yeah, very much. Yeah. Absolutely. If I may butt in, and this is something that should have been done like about a decade or two ago.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, in all honesty, the former Health Minister, His Excellency the President today, his district, Anuradhapura Polo Naroa, this is a huge problem, and it's a grave problem which the last regime just ignored. And didn't do anything about. So I am so happy that the President has called for help, and it's very timely.
What do you think, Rosie? Casting aside all these claims and counterclaims, and about fisticuffs that didn't happen in Mathura and so on, what do you think? Could you tell us 3 main issues that candidates ought to be campaigning on?
Integrity, trustworthiness, commitment, being trustworthy, and integrity is, in my opinion, is of paramount importance for a person to come and ask for a vote from the general public, and you need to be sincere in what you're doing, and that has to be proven. Which, if
proven
you
is in demonstrated.
Exactly. And I think people should take note of the worthy work that people have done, and how trustworthy are they? Are they committed to the cause? Are they truly patriotic, or are they there just gain for themselves? And integrity is, to me, is of paramount importance.
And do you need a certain sense of courage to ask somebody to vote for you?
I suppose so. You have to be courageous enough to go out there and fight an election. So I suppose everybody who is out there has some kind of edge or courage within them.
Was I right, Rosie, when I asked you that you've entered politics for the United National Party sometime 1987?
1987, I joined the Seva Vanitha unit together with Mrs. Hema Premadasa. Madam Elena Jayawardena was the chairperson then. Subsequently, Mrs. Premadasa became the chairperson. And I have walked the breadth and the length of this country empowering women with the Seva Vanitha unit. And the Seva Vanitha unit used to be part of the presidential mobile system, where President Ranasinghe Premadasa, he didn't want the public to come to him, but he went to the public. So there was his presidential mobile unit where he would take the entire cabinet and go to far-flung villages and look into their needs, grievances. And the Seva Vanitha unit used to be a permanent feature of the... So I used to be... I mean, that's where I learned my politics from Mr. Premadasa.
During these long years that you've been in politics, obviously the LTT, the terrorist problem was also present. During those years, how were you fearful, mindful of this threat? Were you frightened?
Of course. I mean, anybody would, and it's not just the war in the north.
Into the public and...
Well, yes, of course. It was not just the war in the north. During the 87, 88, 89 period, there was insurgency down in the south as well. So those were trying times, but we have basically come out of those trying times.
Bandulari, I see that the central bank treasury bond is not going away. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it says now that all these claims about the bond, it's gone in all sorts of directions. Some people say that the former governor was involved in this bond scandal by virtue of a relative being on board that company. We've checked to see that that's not right. But these claims, these other claims, seems to detract from the main...
It has become an election issue now.
Yes.
For the opposition.
Did you say that the former governor's relative?
The former governor's relative, it is claimed that she was a member of the board of the license holding company. The license holding company.
Yes.
She wasn't. She was on the company that owned the license holding company.
Yes, so?
So, what we're trying to say here is, the issue is the treasury bond. By going sideways, we're not addressing the actual problem of the bond. And the actual problem is very simple, that 1 billion became 10 billion. Who authorized it? It was outside procedure. And,
exactly.
That
good
should
point.
be the
point.
problem. By going backwards, I don't think we're...
I was a member of the interim committee, and this investigation was never finished.
Correct.
So I really don't know why people are taking things out of context, and people who are fearful of being part of the crime from the opposition because of the allegiance that the families do have to this particular organization. Now, on the Tuesday, the Friday before Parliament was dissolved, on the Tuesday, I was not going to talk about this ever, but since I was a member of the interim committee. But now that, people are bashing this committee, and they're talking about a committee report which there wasn't a committee report, I think I need to come out and speak a few things. On the Tuesday was, for the second time, we had invited the the present governor, and we had interrogated him, questioned him, and whilst questioning him, there were certain things that came out of the questioning where he himself didn't know when they had 10 million to raise on the Monday.
Billion.
Yes, and on the Friday, why would they advertise for 1 billion? That was a question. And number two, apparently from inside the central bank, somebody called all the dealers and told them, that the auction was happening and to bid, and the interest rates were also given. So this is all the other primary dealers also, when we called them for questioning, which came out. So we really needed to bring back a few people from the central bank to do further questioning. So after having the governor twice over, because we've had people from the central bank, from other dealing organizations, authorities, to the Bank of Ceylon, to practically a whole array of people, the monetary board, etc., etc. Finally, we determined on that Tuesday that let's put the issues on the table now, because we were just bringing people in, questioning them, and we didn't have a proper plan in which direction to go. So I remember Honorable Deputy Minister Sujiva Sena Singh had pointed out and said, you know, Mr. Chairman, let's bring the issues under the table, issues that we need to really focus on, and see exactly how we could move forward. And then it was determined on that day that they will bring a rough draft, not a draft, it was not a draft actually, to bring the issues, just to see a working document, to bring the issues, and then on the Friday we would sit and determine whom should we bring next, and the investigation should have gone on for another 2 to 3 weeks in that whatever. But then the events that took place thereafter were very suspicious. On the Thursday early morning, not early morning, at 10:27 I get a call from the COPE office asking me to be in Parliament at 10:30, 3 minutes prior to the...
so this is where you all didn't have enough time to read.
And not only that, it was such a shocker. I did a turn, because I was on my way to Ratmalana for my pregnant mother's, the nutritional package program. I did a right about turn, went to Parliament, and on my way I called Iran to see whether he knew about it. I called Sujiva, he blasted me because he was in some meeting. And
I just want to move on a little bit. Rosie, I am troubled because we have the governor of the central bank, Mr. Mahendran, who told this station in his own record that he takes responsibility for having not notified the primary dealers that one had become 10. Now, Field Marshal Fonseca is on record as saying that this is, Mr. Mahendran can't be making silly mistakes like this. What he's trying to say, I think, and we must agree, is that this is a serious job. And Mr. Mahendran was brought because obviously the Prime Minister felt that he could do the job. Now, if with all that, you can't be making a mistake like that.
Okay, that was not stated in the investigations where when we questioned him. I don't know. So that's something that we need to look into, because the Prime Minister has very clearly stated that as soon as the new government is established, there will be a COPE interim committee established.
My issue there is that that's very all well and good. The Prime Minister, with all due respect, has wasted a lot of time by doing one committee, and this is going on and on. That's fine. However,
in the past, the EPF, ETF, the Greek bonds scam, hang on a second, not a word was spoken, not an investigation, at least good governance. It was the Prime Minister who initiated and told the Parliament, once the three-member committee report comes in, he will bring it to Parliament, and if you want to have a separate investigation through COPE, this is good governance. It's not a matter of wasting time or whatever. Let's do a proper...
It's wasting the public's money, because the longer we leave it, the further entrenched this bond is in the system. So even if we wanted to reverse the process, and it should be quite easy because the investors are mainly government institutions.
This bond issue, whether it's the issue with regards to the weighted interest rate, or whether there was a loss to the government, where experts such as Iran and everybody was debating and saying it's a debatable issue. Right?
Whichever way you look at it.
The issue is that there was conflict of interest because the governor's son-in-law is a member of perpetual treasuries,
Yes.
and that's the main issue. You know, whether there was insider information, and is that why they bidded for, like, 5 billion, etc., etc.
And also the very important matter that
you're not allowing me to finish.
But very
what I'm trying to
important matter
say.
that at the last minute, in the last 15
but
minutes,
still, I mean, it has become a bone of contention, and UNP is trying to cover this up and trying to hide.
Yeah, why is that?
No, UMP is not trying to cover it up and hide. That is not true.
And where the president himself, he said, Rosie,
President said
the governor should have resigned. He
no,
asked the Prime Minister.
Bandula, that was my opinion as well, because we fought very hard to win this election. And when I heard this story, and when it came out in the public, and when the media was blowing it out, I don't know whether it's out of proportion or whether it's in proportion.
No,
that was the same perception that I had.
Yeah.
Okay.
You felt that the governor should have
I
resigned.
felt that the governor should have resigned. But after going through the investigations, it was
But the
pretty
president
evident.
said so.
The president doesn't know what's in the investigation now. President has to wait and read the report. President is saying what I thought the general public is thinking, that a huge amount of funds, the country lost a lot of money, and this money was given to one particular party, but nobody knows the inside story. Nobody knows, by trying to be transparent and to have a proper system, by trying to work according to the manual of the Department, that by trying to be transparent and doing whatever, because earlier it was private placements to anyone that you liked at any interest rate. That is not a transfer. So after direct placements.
Direct placements.
Yes, sorry. I am a lay person, Faraz. Yeah. Okay, I am, because only 16 members.
That's right.
The license,
Right. Yeah.
and you can give it to anyone you like. And who were the main players?
16 of them could bid for that. No. The central bank. It's in the leak.
Yeah, that's what.
Anyway,
that's what you think. Wait for the report. Wait for the report and make your judgment without trying to,
But in the meantime, the country has lost anything. We have an economist representing the interests of the United National Party, who's written into one of the newspapers, and in his estimation, he says 27 billion. And the other side, who say that this is wrong, have estimated at that time was 42 billion. So there's, it's either 27 or it's 42. Either way, it's Joe Public's money. And it's perpetrated for all
Let's wait for the investigation.
Let's wait. Let's move on now.
Right.
Sorry, you didn't join us there, Bandula.
I was listening to this interesting, discussion you had, and then, I'm sure, like you said, the people have
Shall we ask Rosie this question? As a candidate, would you be willing to tell the public what your campaign is costing you? How much does this campaign cost?
The campaign can cost from 5 million to 10 million to 50 million to any amount.
Right.
The last presidential election, the former president spent public money, apparently, which runs up to huge amounts.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't have the money to run a campaign, but there are people who are willing to come and support us. They'll do the printing for you, they'll do the handbills for you.
Yes.
People are voluntarily going house to house.
So those are indirect costs. But what about direct costs? How much do you think your campaign?
See, the thing is, I haven't still put a press ad because I can't afford it.
Right.
I haven't still got TV ads in the main channels.
Would you be willing to tell us? We don't want names, but would you be willing to say, for example, how much money would you have received in forms of donations because people believe in what you're doing?
I have been actually helped by people taking on responsibilities.
Right.
And people, for an example, there are 15 electorates.
Yeah.
And my coordinators, if I put some of the big electorates need about 3 vehicles to 4 vehicles, and renting a vehicle is expensive.
Yeah.
So they have, well-wishers, people who really want to see me in office, public office, would come out and help me. They would take on the responsibility of, funding those things, or perhaps paying for, they would directly give me the vehicles, or they'll, pump the fuel, they'll support the cost.
But
a lot of them, a lot of them have come out, when I wanted to open offices. It's a huge cost to rent a place for a short span of time, and when it's a political office, people don't want, give it to you. So the premium is very high. But the people have given me their space to do an office. People have come and said, Rosie, how much is it going to cost you for your handbills? If I say it's 2.5 million, they said, okay, I'm going to give you the 2.5 million, print your handbills. You know, I mean, these...
But Rosie, I must take something from that. This is the reason why I have to give the benefit for the viewers. Now see, okay, Rosie says, okay, she leads a very simple campaign, she has an advertise, but our viewers have questioned, did sections of the UNP, I'm not going to blame the UNP, some sections of the UNP raise, you know, money for their campaign through this bond issue. We have heard it from our viewers. Rosie, what have you got to say?
No, I don't. I
said sections of the UNP. I didn't say you.
You'll have to, you know, speak to those sections. Because believe me,
Rosie doesn't belong with that section because, you know, she's trying hard to campaign.
This is what the opposition is bashing us about. No, I would like to know exactly where is the money coming from for the opposition to, you know, do politics. And also when we talk about the bond issue, and if it's an ethical issue here, the former governor's sister is the member. There are only 3 members in the holding company. The 2 Elotius, the father and the son, and the former governor's sister.
But importantly, we must make the distinction between shareholder, now that you bring it up, between shareholder and director.
Okay.
Father and son share the shareholding. The sister of the former governor has no shareholding. She's merely...
How sure are you of that?
I have checked the documents.
Okay, you have
These are
but she's a director out of the 3 directors. Okay, all you need is somebody to be in there, and the connections to the central bank is when you could be favored. You know, a company that got a license in 2013 and then rose to the number 2 player.
In the leaked COP report,
there is no leaked COP. There is no report to leak.
Okay,
this is what the former governor, including some of the members of the COP committee, who are, in my opinion, stooges of the former president.
Let's say this.
Who is trying to bring out a...
Let's say this.
Okay.
The purported draft COP report, is that legally?
But also for us, this reminds...
It tells us there that this particular company, after they got the license, they have only traded for 27 million worth of bonds.
For us, wait for the report. Wait for the report. This is hearsay. This is hearsay. This is what the other side is saying. The president, the prime minister. Listen, I just want to put this on record, and I think we should not be debating about something that is not, because you are, in my opinion, you are biased towards one side, because the Prime Minister very categorically said, and your media was there, he said that I will appoint a new committee, 3 months to finish the report, and if perpetual treasuries are found guilty, they will lose their license, and anyone who is found guilty, we will deal with them. So wait for the report,
but
please.
We must bear in mind that it was the president who wanted this.
Like Rosie said,
it's not the president, please.
When he was abroad,
it was the Prime Minister who came to Parliament and said that I will put it. Read the Prime Minister's speech, please. Don't disregard what the Prime Minister did.
What I have to tell the viewers is this.
I wish I had the Hansard copy to read it out to you.
No, the thing is, what I have to tell the viewer, Rosie said, okay, we are biased. No, like that's what we say at MTV. We report, you decide. But this is what we call bad money, bad politics. What do you say? What say you?
What do you mean bad money, bad politics?
Bad money, we are talking of this issue.
Wait for a report to come out, and then you determine whether it's bad money, bad politics.
My issue is that the longer we wait, the greater
you don't have to wait that long. For us, 3 months. You know, we have lost billions. I wish you would, be investigating into the EPF, ETF thing. I wish you'd be investigating the Greek bond issue. I wish you'd be investigating the Hambantota losses, which is
now we have a Sri Lanka bond issue. Why talk of Greek bonds? We have Sri Lanka bond issue.
Okay, let's
investigate.
The Supreme
Court's already done the Greek bonds, and so we don't think we should talk about that anymore now.
So the Supreme Court also cleared this issue.
No. We mustn't. They cleared something.
Let's put a stop and wait for the court.
Rosie Senanaika, good governance starts at an election. True, false?
True.
True. In that case, shall we, the 3 of us perhaps, you'll join us in this, shall we start a movement in which we ask all candidates to declare how much money they have collected
Of course.
for each
course.
of their campaigns.
Yes,
we don't want things.
that is absolutely, because and also for us, I strongly believe that there has to be a ceiling. This has to be, I know
like
now
in
we
other
have,
countries, yeah.
because we have
exactly.
now an independent election commission. Once
we should advertise in the papers,
absolutely,
publish
there has to be a
through
ceiling,
electronic
because it is not
press,
fair by the people who can't afford to spend. Like us, it's very difficult when you're a woman to, first of all, people don't even take you seriously because you're a woman. That's a mindset that we have, and an attitude. Fortunately, I have good family, very close friends who would wish to see me out there. I have seen, women who can't even afford to buy a piece of jewelry, who would come and tell me, can I do this for you? Because that's how desperate they are to get me elected.
And you're very confident with all these years in politics that such people, there are enough of them who will ensure that Rosie Senanaka's return to Parliament.
Of course.
She will win. Maybe she'll have a tough fight with young Hirumika.
I have absolutely no competition with anyone, because I have stuck with the party for the last 27 years, 28 years. I have been in the opposition for 21 years, and I have stuck with the party. I think after the leader, I'm the most senior in this list.
Right.
I'm not a newcomer, and I have basically walked the breadth and the length of this country, fighting for elections. We've done walks from Kandy to Colombo, from Matra to Colombo. We have faced tear gas.
As you say this,
I have just one question, because I once, let you carry on with the program, but now you are talking of good governance in this country. Rosie, what about good governance in the United National Party? And let young Sajith Premadasa take over the United National Party.
Yeah, when he's ready, because he was given 2 opportunities, and the first time when we all backed him and we wanted him to take on the leadership, he decided to become deputy leader. And then the second time round, when we asked him to run for elections, he said no, and he allowed Mr. Karu Jayasuri to run for elections. When he's ready to take on the leadership, he would. I think this is a question that you should be asking him and not
quite, Pandula. I was going to ask Rosie something else. Ambition can creep as well as soar.
I'm ambitious, very ambitious for my cause.
Does that cause involve at some point, perhaps, when the current leadership decides to call it a day? Maybe will you seek nomination as the leader of your party?
That's if the people of my party would want me to, not otherwise. My primary objective is, I have 3 children, fathers. My children should be able to live in this country, because I strongly believe that we are not born Sri Lankan by accident. There's always a plan and a purpose to why we are born here. And I've always told my kids, all 3 of them went to foreign universities. 2 have graduated and come back. I've always told them, I will sell everything I have and pay for your education, but you will come back and serve this nation, because that's their calling is here. But if I, as much as I would tell them that I would educate you and I want you to come back, I as a parent need to create that environment where my children will be safe enough to come here, get involved in the developing process of the country, help the country and help themselves. And I am very ambitious for the children of this country, and I strongly believe that no country can be developed unless it invests in its human capital. And that's what we're planning to do with our new manifesto and with our new economic development plan.
I think what you're trying to say really is that think before you vote. Vote responsibly.
Oh yeah. Vote for people who are ambitious enough to make your lives better.
Indeed, and who are committed to you and to our country.
Absolutely.
Rosie Senanaka, thank you very much. We've absolutely enjoyed your presence.
Whole hour.
You'll probably be collared for further interviews as we go on this morning.
As long as it's not on the bond issue. Wait till after the investigation's over.
I'm going home now. And Bandula, thank you very much for having joined us here this nice morning. On a day that we had Rosie Senanaka grace the occasion, perhaps this thought I shall leave with you. Diamonds are nothing more than chunks of coal that have stuck to their job. On that note, I'll wish you a very good morning and God bless you.